This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
Welcome back to The Cringe is Real, the podcast that cringes along with Australian reality TV and pop culture at large. I'm Sam Cremian, and this week I'm headed to the girls' resort to Kiki with Rachel Echols on this week's episode of FBoy Island Australia. Season 2 of FBoy Island Australia is currently airing weekly on Mondays, only on Binge, and I'll be recapping it each week with a special guest, so make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Rachel Echols, welcome back to The Cringe is Real.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
How you going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very excited because this show is just so good.
It's so good. We were just saying so many people have the wrong idea about this show.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely would have had, honestly, if it wasn't for Abby Chatfield.
Yeah,
I would have seen that and been like, no, thank you.
You're right. She's kind of like an endorsement
Yeah.
of like, this is going to be,
I was
not
like,
harmful.
Yeah, and this will be like a bit silly, which is exactly what you want. Yeah.
Before we get into the episode though,
Yes.
I want to know what's got you cringing this week.
Ugh, it's been like probably 2 weeks of this, but very specifically this PR nightmare that is Blake Lively.
Oh my, can I just say quickly,
yeah.
I love that finally people are just like hating on Blake.
I feel
for
like,
seemingly no reason, but I kind of love it.
but you feel like it's not for no reason.
Okay.
And there's a whole thing with like the cancelling of people that I think is way too over the top. But
Yeah.
so many things like that, very specifically that interview that resurfaced of her saying, I like your little bump. Did you see that?
No.
It's awful.
Tell me everything. What is going on with
It's
Blake?
unfortunately Parker Posey is also in the interview, and I love Parker Posey, and
yeah.
she's being not so nice. So, but ignoring her aside,
Yeah.
obviously it was just after Blake had announced to the world that she was pregnant with one of her children, and it's
with
this like
Ryan Gosling's child. No, the other one, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah. I think it's like one of her.
Both of those Ryans are just so boring to me that I find them interchangeable.
Quite a few of the Ryans are interchangeable. And she basically just started the interview. This like I think she's from Sweden or something. She's like, oh, congratulations on your little bump. And she obviously Blake was not into that and went like, congratulations on your little bump.
Oh.
The woman is not pregnant. The woman is not pregnant.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And it is
So now that everyone's hating on her from the It Ends With Us PR stuff.
Other stuff
So
is
what happened? So
resurfacing.
is it just that, because I tried to find out what was going on.
Yeah.
But I also, my fucks level was like very low that I was
Yeah.
giving. So I quickly had a deep dive or a mini dive.
Yes.
And from what I understand, there's this press tour for this movie.
Yes.
It's about domestic violence. And
Yes.
the director, who's also starring in the movie, is on the press tour being like, this is about like ending the cycles of violence.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. And then
Literally, it ends with us.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
it. Then cut to Blake and she's like, what a fun movie, girls.
Get your girlfriend.
Galinas, get a glass of rosé. Is that...
It's kind of that, and I think it's a bit more about like they had tensions, and I've only gotten bits and pieces from TikTok because people are like, here's a 10-minute video. I was like, oh, I don't care.
Well, this is what I mean.
much.
I love that there's not even that much out there, but we're just all ready to like pile on.
And
Blake.
and I think it's like, I think Ryan got involved like with something to do with the script, and I don't know.
Bring your husband to work day.
Yeah, kind of that vibe.
He
and then,
would do that.
Yeah.
Just
and
rock up on set and be like,
oh, she should do this
how's
and she
the
should do
Blakey?
that. And I've heard also the book in itself is not very good.
Well,
but
go piss, girl.
Yeah. I just, the interview made me, this resurfaced interview is what made me cringe the most because it's so obviously she's just being catty, but also just the woman is not pregnant. Just going, I like your little bump. And the woman's face is like, okay. And then she proceeds to be just like completely rude the whole interview and talking to Parker Posey instead of talking to her. And she asks about the costumes and it's like a period piece film. And she's like, I wonder if you'd ask the men about the costumes. And it's like, okay, You're hardly like raging feminist here.
Yeah. Let's hop into F-Boy.
Yes, I'm
So
excited.
before we get into this episode, how are you feeling about our 3 girlies?
I like them. I
Yeah.
just don't think they have as much
Pizzazz.
yeah, I feel like last season
Yeah.
all 3 girls were all quite funny and sassy.
They were boss bitches last season.
And
This
they got
season,
their like
yeah.
girl power together was like I was actually like, I can tell you 3
Yeah.
are like are mates and you get along.
Totally.
Not that I think these girls don't get along.
Well,
but
thank fuck for Krystal, our
Oh,
queen.
an
Because if she
absolute
wasn't
queen.
there, because the other 2, I gotta say, they're letting the team down.
yeah,
just
I
a
think
little bit.
Nicole, the
Yeah,
model.
yeah.
Is she a model?
I don't
She, I think, is coming out of her shell
Yes.
like a little bit.
I liked her this week.
But
Yeah.
I think Ali just seems. I feel.
She
I
doesn't
mean,
know what's going on.
just
She
don't.
should have watched the show.
I think she thinks she's on The Bachelor. I don't really know, but
poor Ellie. Someone send help for our girl
Yeah, I
Ellie.
just-
She's confused.
feel that she needs a bit more, maybe connection with the girls to be like. By the way, or maybe they're just not vibing in that way. Like Krystal
Yeah.
just seems to be on her own. Krystal, on her own show, but I don't mind because she's so phenomenal.
She's so good, and she
And-
just keeps getting better.
Yeah,
Like
just
I thought, surely
so
yeah,
fun,
exactly.
so like so good at it in terms of like what she's doing to identify the F boys, like whipping out her like icon shit, just her little black book.
The book is
just
iconic.
in front of their face.
Yeah.
Love it. Just like
Yeah. No,
1 second.
excuse me. Gotta write that down.
So good. And just like they know, they're just like, and she's charismatic
Yeah.
and she's hot. Like everyone's really into
Yeah.
it. It's great.
We're loving her. Yeah, and Nicole, I think at the start, I don't know. I think just the editing threw me off with the model thing, and
Yeah.
she wasn't really in it much. And then I don't know. I was talking about this last week. It's like, do you think they would ever allow the girls on a show like this to like fight over a guy? And I don't think they would, because they shut
Yeah.
that whole Joe thing down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I feel like that's maybe part of the personalities you'd want on there. And
Yeah.
I heard you were talking about that from last week. And I think it's best that it is more of like
It's a girl power show.
vibe.
Yeah, we don't want girls fighting over men. on
That
the
is
show.
that's
Yeah,
bachelor
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
keep that. That's got its place, and everyone enjoys
Yeah.
that in their own thing. But this one, I like how it's kind of like all of the men, F boy or nice guy, are the joke.
Totally.
They're in on the joke,
Totally.
but they're all the joke, and
Well,
it's
exactly.
like the girls just having fun and like
Totally.
throwing their cat at everyone, and that's so
And
good.
Joe, oh my! And can we talk about Joe for 1 second? Like, what?
I actually hate that
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's bad.
The first
He's got
episode,
to be an F boy, right?
1,000%.
Yeah.
From episode 1, I was like, that is an F boy.
Yeah.
And it kind of was like, okay, there's the F boy that's like entertaining to watch, but
Yeah.
like annoying. And this particular episode, I feel like he's actually crossed the line for me, as in like, oh, I actually don't want you on my screen anymore.
Yeah.
Like the possessive stuff is like this American Psycho vibe. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's gross behavior. Like we're past that
How
point.
is he not up for elimination this week? Like, I love how when he
Because
said,
Ali-
"Oh, I like Nicole first," that was grounds for elimination. And then this week, he's like just intimidating everyone and being a douchebag.
and then pretending he's not.
Yeah,
But also, like, Ali,
I think they're keeping him in for telly.
just, he said to you on your
Yeah.
date this thing, and you were right to be like, oh, what a shit feeling. And then him to just
Totally.
turn around and be like, only got eyes for you. Like, I'm like, girlfriend.
It's so
come
transparent. I know.
I feel so bad for her because I was like, yeah, I can see
And-
why you only
and
fall for F
he
boys.
fucked it too, because now Nicole doesn't want to touch him, and neither does Ali, really.
Yeah.
But she
still likes
she's
him.
still digmatized without saying the D.
Stigmatized. Absolutely. She's just like, she is
Yeah.
saying, like, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but her being like, oh, I'm pretty sure he's, blocking these opportunities for me, and that's a real problem. And I was
Yeah.
like, he is definitely doing that, but also you're allowing this to,
Yeah.
like, she had that date with that cute English boy with the bod.
Yeah.
The baldish guy. She had that date and she was like, there was no
Aaron,
chemistry.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think that's true because he's a very charismatic and attractive man.
That whole date, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And she was
Jump
cock
on
blocking
that man.
herself.
Yeah, totally.
Because
of
Joe.
Joe. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just done. Yeah, he's way past the point of being like
Yeah.
gross now. That
Yeah.
like, well, yeah,
Have you-
get that toxic
Have
nonsense.
you got a fave guy?
honestly, no,
You're
not
like, no.
really.
What a U-turn from my last 2 episodes with thirsty gay men.
And then I was trying to think of like, okay, who on a purely like looks basis, which to be honest, like personality does, like at the start I would have been like, yeah, Joe, you're hot. And I look at him and I'm repulsed by him now because of his behavior.
Yeah, he was hot.
I was like, yeah, you're
And
hot.
he
I get
fucked
it. Probably you're not going to like this, but I do think Jack,
Jack
the man who's allergic
Jack
to
is
t-shirts.
insanely hot.
He is hot.
Give me a big old chin.
Yeah, and
a
just
tight little bod any day. It's cute.
refuses to wear shirts and clothing.
Surely they've put him up for that, right?
I mean, but he has to agree.
Yeah, he was like, sure.
Oh, me? Okay, if I must.
Either way, I think it's funny.
And I do think, I don't know any of their names.
Yeah.
That's how much I just don't
I
even
feel like
care.
I'm getting there this week. And then, of course, they throw in 3 new ones.
Oh,
With names
absolutely.
like Godwill.
Godwin. And the
Iconic.
bartender that I was like, weren't you already on the show? He kind
Yeah,
of looks like the French.
Totally. Well, they all look a bit the same.
Yeah, they do all look the same.
Nathan?
The,
He looks like
with
he's been
blonde
on- yeah, the,
he's
like-
absolutely an F-boy, that one.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
But he looks like 2 guys that already left that I also was like, you look the
Totally.
same.
Yes.
That had
he
accents,
does.
though.
They're just churning through them.
The guy that Nicole went on a date with this week. Something about him
Sean?
gives me the ick, but I
The
also...
tradie with the mustache.
No,
Oh,
the
no.
real like indie nonsense guy. Like it grosses me out. Like the glasses.
Timothy. Yeah.
Something
Timothy.
about him.
No, so first 2 eps I was like, ew. And then
Yeah.
this week I was like, oh no, he's actually kind of hot.
And I think
in
it
a
was this-
very Brunswicky way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, I live in Brunswick. But I was the same. The first couple of episodes, I was like, no. And something about you is just his like his confessionals. I was like, no. But I was like, okay, this episode. And look, the mullety traded man is on paper attractive, but that is an F-boy.
I will put money on him being an F-boy.
I'll eat
the
my
story
hat if
about the hairdresser and the mum, I'm like,
yeah.
excuse me.
I was like, no. And also,
Please.
you wouldn't tell that.
No.
Don't be like, I'm shy. Here's
I'm
some really
shy.
like deep info. Like that's something you'd say
No.
off camera if you were actually shy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's got a strategy.
I'm so shy.
Yeah.
like,
I was like, you've got a strategy.
girl.
Well done for you, but there's no way I would buy it.
So this episode begins. I love that this one's just straight into it. The boys rock up and it's like a group date. We're ready to go, and the girls are already blindfolded on little day beds.
Oh, so good.
And Krystal is ready to go.
She is fired up.
She's like, "Let's do this." I love. She's like, "Yeah, look, I just would love to get railed right now."
She's an icon, honestly.
She's a fucking icon. So the name of the game is Men of Service. And I mean, like, sounds fun in theory, but then I was like, oh, this can go left at any moment with these boys. But basically, they have to woo the girls with various sexy props. You know, we've got massage oil and whipped cream and that kind of stuff. And they've got to
Snakes.
say, yeah, that's right. They've got to pick
Sexy snakes.
who's good. Did you like this group date?
Oh, look, I found it funny. Like, it's just so kind of gross and silly, but I like how they all kind of got into it, except for obviously the 2 men that
The
just
2
went
who haven't learned about what consent is. Yeah.
And I was very impressed by Frank, just without question, being like asking Abby
I think
to ask.
Frank is really hot. But he got such a bad edit in the first.
He did,
air.
but I actually think even from the bad edit that he's a nice guy.
Oh, you reckon?
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like
He's just nervous on camera or
and
something.
but I feel like he's just loud and boisterous. But he would be I don't know. I just have this feeling that to other people, and that it just appears that he's an F-boy,
Gotcha.
but he kind of has short king energy, which is maybe that he's compensating
does.
with this energy and being flirty. I don't know.
That's a whole other show, Short King Island.
Yeah.
I would fucking watch that.
But I was very impressed with that behavior.
Yeah.
And some of them were so funny. Obviously, some of them were gross. Like the chocolate,
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
Well, that was Sean, wasn't it? With the just covered
Oh,
chocolate
yeah,
all
yeah,
over
yeah.
him. And then he ended up like rubbing a bird
That was so
in it
weird.
later.
I'm so
Yeah.
transparent again with the fact that in my mind he's absolutely an F-boy, because he was like, I only have eyes for Nicole, so I didn't want to ruin that. But like, you're on a game.
yeah,
like,
no,
she
that-
would have been like, it's
that-
fine.
100%. When they're overcorrecting like that, I'm like,
Yeah.
red flag for me.
100%.
We start with Minjara pouring honey all over Nicole, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's like cum in my mouth."
And I was like, I can't wait to see who that was. That was the man that freestyle
rapped. That was some like iconography.
Actually, that is like my cringe moment of the year. Like, as soon as he did that, I covered my eyes. I was watching TV alone and I covered my eyes. But
poor
him,
Dart.
Poor Dart.
And that cello.
Yeah, the honey.
Aaron dangles lolly snakes in Ellie's mouth, which I was like, okay.
That's a hard one to do.
Hard one to work out.
Although I don't know why I didn't do like Lady and the Tramp.
True.
I feel like maybe that's what it was intended to be. Who knows?
He's like, I'm just going to put them on my
in my pants.
Ellie gets tickled by Joe. Jerome, our boy, plays the recorder out of his nose. I died.
Just like, they did him dirty by being like, take the recorder.
They're doing him so dirty. Like last week, they're like, oh, here, wax his chest on the date. I was like, that's so mean. And now they give him the recorder.
Like, the part after that, where they were having a nice conversation, I was like, he's just, yeah, he could be like a larrikin, but that's a bit much.
Yeah.
And going, here's the recorder when everyone got roughly like sexy things.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, you just want him, which I guess fine, but like give him a chance to like, I don't know.
Exactly. I'm hoping
use
that
honey
we get
and make a joke himself instead.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get a switch halfway through the season or something and people start seeing him as a threat. Because he's got a lot of charisma.
He absolutely does. Riz, don't you mean Riz?
Oh, sorry.
That's how the gen...
Sorry, I'm outing my chugginess.
Yeah.
He's got Riz.
Yeah, he's got Riz. And he's just... Yeah, I'm so glad he's there, but I wish he wasn't the only one, because then it's like, you are
We've got Doug.
Oh my God.
There's big Doug energy up in the house as well.
That's right. Big Doug.
I don't know what to do with Doug, because, this week I thought he was actually quite sweet.
I mean, I think he's sweet. I just think...
I feel like Krystal's going to pick him.
I think she's going to go on dates with him, but I don't think he'll be. He just... When I saw that his like thing with his career was like high voltage electrician, I was like, I mean, you've touched some live wires.
He's taken a few shots.
I was like, that's okay. I feel like that explains maybe
it
this
explains
behavior.
a lot.
Yeah.
Some of the professions, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like a rigger or like armorer. Carpenterer. I'm like,
are you D&D characters? Yes.
Are they all tradies?
Yeah.
Or,
and then what is Jerome's? I don't know his job. I can't think of it.
I don't know.
Silly boy.
Silly boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Krystal is having fun, but she doesn't want to lose sight of the mission at hand, which is weeding out F-boys. And I love that. She just starts pashing them all, which I'm just like, fuck, I love you.
Yeah, I like how she's like, no consent, but she's like, I will take the kiss, but...
It was good, and I liked it. It was a good lesson in... Yeah, she was like, look, I'm comfortable and I'm in charge of this situation, so I'm going to go along with it, but I will school them the fuck out later on. And
absolutely.
I was like, that is the way to do it. She didn't get all victim-y about it. She wasn't like, oh my God, poor me, I've been abused. She was like, no. These guys are
I enjoyed it, and I then consented by continuing with the kiss, but they still didn't ask, which is still the issue.
Yeah. Frank, our short king, did ask for consent, which we're all impressed by. This we had Joey. Poor Joey.
Is that Edward Cullen?
Yeah. Joey, unfortunately, is a breakout star of this episode, but not for the reasons that we want.
It started okay with the belt thing.
Yeah.
Because Ali was kind of like, oh.
And Joey and Joe have a bit of rivalry going on here because Joe obviously is a fucking douchebag.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Get away from my girl. Joe looks like he would like murder his wife. Like a Netflix documentary
that's what
about
I mean.
him where like bodies in the basement.
When I'm like, you've gone past the point,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is some toxic American Psycho nonsense.
Yes,
like,
it's very
oh,
that.
I'm sorry, you have a male co-worker, you have to quit your job. Like, you're not working with him because
100%.
he's young and single. Like, that energy. And the way he was looking at Joey when
He's
that was
mad.
happening was bad.
Oh my God, of course Nicole is so vanilla and she turns down some foot play. I was like, girl.
Oh, who did that?
So I think the braces guy, which did check out. There's like a tall guy whose name we have not learned yet. Who's like tall and he has like a slightly ginger beard and braces,
Oh,
which is
yes,
like
with braces.
very
Yes,
my
yes, yes.
thing.
Oh, is it?
Give me a geeky,
Look, I do
guy
like a
any
geeky,
day.
but yeah, we did just see him for it was like the other guy that kissed Krystal.
Oh, yes.
I was like, where
it
have
was
you?
Nugget and
No, not Nugget.
someone else.
Nugget's the basketball player.
Yeah.
and
Wasn't
then
he one of the
there's like I
non-consent
think
ones?
he's like maybe he's British. He's another black guy with like dreads.
With the gappy teeth.
Yeah, is he British?
Norman.
What?
That
I
was
would
his
not
name.
have
We
guessed
met
that.
Norman for 1 second. Yeah.
So him, I was like, where I've never seen you.
dreads guy.
And
Yeah.
Lewis
He's
is the tall
Lewis.
guy. Yes. He was the foot play guy?
Yeah. I did get a text from Paul Mitzi, guest of last week, being
yeah.
like, I need to retract the statement about finding Lewis attractive. I'm like, here it is, girl.
Yeah, she would be. You're right, though. The vanilla
thing,
it checks out.
It's like, come on, you're a model. Just do some foot play. Surely you've got
Also,
like an
you've probably
only
got
feet.
beautiful feet.
They would be
Yeah.
stunning. maybe it's in a contract somewhere. She can't get her feet
Or
out.
maybe she is on Only Feet
Probably.
or something like that.
Jack licks whipped cream off Nicole. I thought that bit was quite hot.
Yeah, that was hot.
Get that big chin
I'm surprised she
out.
didn't choose that, though.
Yes. Very
I
strange.
I feel like maybe she had an inkling that it was him though, and wanted to make out
mix
with
up.
other people.
True. I mean,
Which,
fair. I would
yeah,
do the
I said
same.
me too,
I'd be
100%.
like, I've only
I'd be like,
explored half
I've
the
made out
candy
with him,
store.
so this is fun. Yeah.
Exactly. Round 2 is the kissing comp. So they double down. They have to pick the two from the first round they like the most. So Krystal picks ice person and massage oil person. Ali picks chocolate, which was Sean, and belt, which was Joey. And Joe is fuming.
So pissed off.
So
and he's
mad.
so, like, I loved it though, because he was so like, I've got this in the bag, the tickling, the flipping
Yeah.
her over. He was like, I've got this, like, just watching him not win is like so satisfying.
So cocky. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun when he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah.
Sean doesn't want to kiss Ali because he's vibing with Nicole.
Yeah.
So he rubs his insane rig covered in chocolate with a wooden bird.
And shoves it in Ali's.
Which, I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy the gratuitous lingering shots just on his shirtless body.
on his chocolatey.
Yeah.
But it also, like, the chocolate was, like, dry.
Yeah,
it
it was a bit
weird.
gross,
Yeah.
but...
And then shoving the macaw's beak in.
So classy. So, what a way to woo a woman.
Poor Ali. She really got she got the bad end
Yeah.
of that deal. She didn't even get two like, proper kisses.
Oh my God. Joe is fucking, like, living for this. Like,
I know.
Like, Joey with the belt, and then Ali's like, I'm not into it. Stop.
It was so
I'm
awkward.
not vibing. And Joe's like, fuck yeah. He's such a bully.
And then I feel like Abby was like, what, not a good kisser? And then she just was like, straight up, no, sorry.
Yeah, they needed like a safe word or something.
I know.
Like to be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Then, surprisingly, Timothy out of nowhere smashes the pash.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
Maybe that's the moment that I was like, oh.
Yeah. Jack and Nicole also pash, which was quite hot. Krystal chooses, it's Doug and Nugget she has.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So they unblindfold and it's like, this is who you got. And then they have to pick their favourite pash. Nicole's was Timothy.
Yes.
So Jack is like, oh. And Krystal picks Doug, Mr. Massage Oil. Ali reluctantly picks Joey. And I'm like...
Because she's like, at least you had the balls to try.
And Joe's like, that's my girl. Yeah, I don't know. Just Ali at this point, I'm like, you kind of suck.
I feel for her because I'm like, I think you're on the wrong show, and I don't know, like maybe there's just not enough, like, you know, kiki with the girls.
It's like on her, like she picked bad, so I'm like, why are you mad?
But
like,
she's also like not taking what I can imagine is conversations that we don't see, and like that whole thing with Joe and Nicole saying, you know, I said to him, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the guy that you're interested in was then formally rejected by some, like, I just don't know.
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
you're just kind of now putting yourself in this, or you're just really insecure and you're like, oh my God, he kind of likes me, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is just explore. I want you to
Totally.
like crystal
I
it
want
and
to loosen up
yeah,
and just have fun.
because even Nicole is like all
Yeah.
about just like
Nicole's getting
making
into
out
it.
with she's just having a good time.
She's
Whereas
down.
Ali's like, there's just no chemistry. I was like, well, that's obviously not true.
Yeah, Ali's got no lols.
No,
Like
yeah.
she needs,
She's a bit too serious.
She's also a completely different person in the elimination ceremonies. You
Yeah.
notice, like they like in the show, she's all like Joe, and then they get to elimination, and she's like, "You boys need to step it up." And
yeah.
I'm disappointed. I'm like, where is this person?
Just
99% of the
at
rest
the
of the time.
at the little cocktail party
Yeah,
thing.
at the
That's where
party,
you should
she's
be
like,
like, and be like, Joe. Yeah, I agree. It's like, okay, you're just putting on this character, and it's not a vibe.
Also, I'm kind of annoyed. So we get the single dates now, but
Mm-hmm.
they got to just pick anyone, and I'm like, it should have been the person that won the challenge. No,
Wasn't it? Oh no,
no,
because
they
she
got
took Patty.
Krystal took Patty. So
It should
I
have
found it as a
been.
viewer a little bit confusing.
I think it's
but-
just because, yeah, you're right. Because only Nicole took
Yeah, Nicole picked Timothy.
yes
Patty picked
because of the
Krystal,
kiss. But yeah,
and
you're
Ali
right.
picks Nugget, which I was like random.
It's because she just noticed him as all
That's
of us did.
right,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, you're here.
Yeah, but I do love this show how they don't show boring bits. They just cut straight to
Yes.
the dates or whatever. There's no like them all standing in a line and like who are you gonna pick? Like
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
do any of that shit.
That's true.
Yeah. So Patty and Krystal, I actually quite like these two together. Just for the year of the mid storyline.
Yeah, I feel how old is Patty? He looks
I think he's 32, which we were like,
I
sorry
mean-
about it.
32
Yeah.
or 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
I just, I don't know. Something about him gives me the ick.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I actually love Krystal just being like, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
finding her year of the mid and just
yeah.
being like, we have this, like, funny connection. Like, that's
she thinks
good.
he's got a big dick, let's be honest.
Yeah, because he's constantly getting erections, as
I
are all the
know.
men, and then just talking about it, which, again, it's not something you'd
Dead.
see on The Bachelor or whatever. So that's
No.
why it's so fun and camp to
I
show, because
love-
they're all just like, let's
They're
talk
like
about our
little,
dicks.
They're like little boys.
Yeah,
They're like,
they are.
like excited
Being like, oh, I've got an
erections.
erection. And you're like, okay, because you're a grown man.
Oh my God. Nicole picks Tim because she knows he can kiss now and she's intrigued to like
Yeah.
find out a bit
And
more.
good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
So what did you think of this stitch up with the waiters? I loved
Oh, look, I actually thought it was so funny because, like, how stupid. Like,
so dumb.
and just the waiters getting involved. I don't know, it just adds to the funness
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it. Although some of them did a better job than
Yes.
others.
Also, at this point, we have no idea that these men are about to join,
Which is
the
wild
menu, which
now.
was great.
Yeah.
because I was like, I was literally thinking during it, these guys are great. Like,
Yeah, they're doing such
well.
a good job, and they're like
Yeah.
them flirting with them and being like, "Oh, you look good in blue" and stuff like that. And I was like, "You're doing such a good job," and that was such a good reveal.
Shout out to Godwill for being like taking a banana and then being like, yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah, I haven't had my smoke.
Okay.
I was like, that's so funny.
And also, it was like them lifting their leg onto the table.
Yeah, the leg thing
To just
from
show
Chad.
yeah.
And then Nathan's got such slimy like pool boy energy.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, in the
Yuck.
little outfit. But no, I thought there were 3 like good choices
Yeah.
for this task. Getting the orders wrong, so funny. But poor Nugget does not read the room.
He does not, but like, and I agree where I'm like, yeah, you want someone to keep their cool, but like, it was like 4 times that the person then came back with sushi.
It's
So
like,
like,
wouldn't you be like, haha, this is a gag?
you must, or like, otherwise, yeah, I don't know, because I personally would get annoyed. I'd be like, oh, why? What is happening? But
I'm like so assertive in all parts of my life, and then you put me in front of like a waiter, and I think it's because I worked hospo for so long.
Yes.
I can't do it. I'm too nice. I'm like, don't worry about it.
I
Don't
think
even worry
that's
about
what
it.
I
I'm
would
like,
end up doing,
I'll
yeah.
go get it. Like,
I think that's what I'd end up like. I'd be annoyed, and I wouldn't be visibly annoyed at the
Yeah.
person. So I understood his frustration because you would just be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But as somebody that also did hospo, I feel like I'd just be like, "It's fine. Let's just take the
be like,
sushi."
babe,
Or-
don't worry about it. I'll be like, I'll take the
Or like, yeah.
Not so much the one that got like thrown in the sand.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that one.
And then like, it was like the way he was kind of talking to the
Yeah.
waiter, though, where he was like, "My man."
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
and I was like,
my
all
man.
right,
and like,
let's-
come over here.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just
yeah.
do it discreetly, like, "Hey, I actually asked for the fruit," but instead he was like, "I asked for the fruit." That's my American
Your
accent
American
of Nugget.
He really was visibly quite disturbed
Yeah.
by it, which I did enjoy. But
yes, and he's also American though.
Yeah,
which
true.
I think might have something
humour
to
is
play into,
different.
and
Yeah.
and also like the way their service industry is so
true.
different. So
He's like, I'm not tipping.
yeah,
that
basically,
shit
he's
service.
like, this is 10% only,
Yeah.
and it was a bit.
They'll chase you out of the restaurant.
Yeah, it was a bit yucky because I was kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
you're like a good looking man, and then I was
Yeah.
a bit like, oh,
Yeah.
he's a bit boring.
Yeah, well, he lives in Adelaide. We learnt this week. So
Oh, is that where he lives?
Yeah.
He's very much I want to say Corey from last season, who I think was also a basketball player.
So they must do, I don't know where they find these people, but they cast the net really wide last year because I felt like half of them were American.
Yeah, there was Americans and then British, like there's some English people in this one, but Nugget was just a bit like, oh yeah, you're kind of cute, but I did like how he like outed Joe to Ali. Being like, oh, I just didn't really want to talk to you because like Joe, and then
Joe's
how
a
it had the cutback of him saying, oh, I think I want to talk to Ali, and Joe being like, I don't think so.
Yeah, and so Ali's like, hang on, what?
Yeah.
What is Joe doing at the boys' villa?
And you know she's so stoked with it deep down though.
Oh, yeah. She's kind of living for all of this, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
In a boring way.
She didn't watch, exactly. Like, she
Yeah.
didn't watch season 1. It's like, no, what you do is like, when you don't want them, you just send them home and find another one. Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to watch you just like and ah about Joe for 12 episodes.
And
like,
even
I'm
if
sorry.
he's the guy, i.e. like
Fucking
Nick
better
was
not be.
from
Yeah.
Molly.
The Nick was so cute.
Oh, he was such a cutie and he was such a sweetie. But like
Labrador.
Molly was still like having her thing because that's the nature of like, so I just wish
'Cause
Ali
Molly
was
was a
just having
self-assured
fun.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just like, I'm going to give it a go. This is my experience. And I
Yeah.
just feel like Ali needs to do that because she's like
Yeah.
probably 22. I have no idea.
Yeah. So Krystal and Patty pash because they have before and they're horny for each other. But then Chad comes and wrecks it with champagne spray. We also get a pash from Tim and Nicole, but she's like, but he climbed on top of me or whatever, which I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. And she's like, F-boy behavior. And I'm like,
Was it? I don't know. It did look a little bit crawly on top of it, but like, isn't that hot? I don't know.
yeah, I think so. But also, like, you can not allow that to happen.
Yeah,
like you
you'd be
feel
like,
the
whoa,
pushback happening.
down, tiger. Yeah, down,
even if you
boy.
didn't want to verbalize it, you kind of feel the pushback that you could be like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to stay sitting up, and they'd probably get the hint. But like, I'm sorry,
Classic
but I feel like
Nicole,
you
though.
wanted it.
Yeah, classic Nicole does it, and then she's like, hated that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, instead I was
Okay.
like, just call it out at the time, girl. But yeah,
But we get no pash from Ellie and Nugget.
of course not. She's
Yeah.
still only kissed Joe, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And that was, she had to like
Go in
kind of beg for that.
because he had just been like,
Yeah.
no, I'm really interested in
So
you.
she must enjoy the chase a bit.
Yeah.
I think she's a pick-me girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Unfortunately.
needs that. Yeah.
And I feel like, there was a bit of some of her vibe gives me not super girls girl in the sense that like the Nicole thing, like I feel like I would have been like,
Yes.
oh, okay, this is weird. Even
Release
if you
the
don't like him,
tapes.
like let's just
Yeah.
like undo it. But
Well, we never really saw them talk. We saw them talk about it a little bit, but like not as much as you think that
that they
would.
surely did. Yeah.
Surely they did.
Release the tapes. Do
Release the tapes.
Yeah.
Of them being like, who wants him?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Nugget.
Yeah. Ali's like, it's a no from me for Nugget. Then back at the boys' resort. Oh, no, sorry. I missed the semi. Patty gets a semi,
That's right.
which from what I saw in those few frames,
you were
I'm
in.
I'm
You were
impressed.
like, I see.
Yeah. I'm all on board with the year of the mid.
And yeah, she was pretty convinced. She's like, mids are usually
Yeah.
well endowed, funny because they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then she gets to be the hot one,
Yeah.
which I kind of love.
Absolutely. I mean, she probably would be in most relationships, let's be honest. With you,
reckon.
but yeah.
Back at the boys' resort, Joe is back on his BS, intimidating everyone. Joey asks Nugget how the date was, and he's like, yeah, it's okay.
At least he kind of got that it wasn't a vibe.
Yeah. But then Tim and Patty compare notes on their dates. And this is when they realised that there was a conspiracy.
It was so funny. It was so funny. Watching the waiters lurking in
Yes.
the background, like, oh shit.
I think the wait staff job is the way you want to come into this show. Like
Yeah.
you get to kind of just sit back at the start,
Oh,
watch everything go on.
absolutely.
Blah. But we haven't even talked about Caleb. How do you feel about Caleb? being there?
So stupid. I was like annoyed at first, but as soon as he was behind
Yeah.
the bar, I was like, okay, I get why you're here. And I quite like, I feel like there has been a bit more focus on the wait staff's involvement. And I find that super interesting because like he's just there to kind of stir the pot and find out the goss.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Or is
okay,
he?
well, yeah, I'm sure he's going to be in
Yeah.
the game. But there's the idea that they're like, let's bring him back
Totally.
as like almost like a secondary host that's just finding out the info and probably going to drop at bombs.
And
I
the
love it.
voice note DM from
Oh,
Krystal,
fuck.
that was so funny. I like that backstory. Perfect.
I was like, Krystal, what a queen.
Yeah.
Just her being like, whoops, I may have sent him. Also, voice note DM, bold.
like, that's some. She must have been on something.
Yeah.
You do not send a voice note DM
Sliding
to
into
sliding in with a voice note.
It's so intense.
But that's our girl. Like,
Yeah.
she actually doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's so good.
Nugget comes over and joins the boys comparing notes about the wait staff ruining the dates, and then the girlinas rock up for the mixer. So yeah, this is a bit of a shit show mixer because this is where we get old mate Joey deciding this is his moment. He's gonna pull up his big boy pants and make a
Yeah.
announcement to the group. Oof. But before that, Krystal hits up Jerome because she's like, I want to know who kissed me without consent today. I love that she still didn't know at this point.
I know. Like, did she not ask Patty?
Yeah.
It seems so
What?
strange.
Yeah. I like that Jerome's got her trust though.
Yeah.
In that way.
Absolutely. He'd probably
Yeah.
be the person that I'd go up to. Too.
Yeah. Sean tells Nicole he didn't kiss Ellie because he's loyal to her and she's kind of here for it. So I'm like, girl, watch
I
out.
know.
I wanted to just like jump through and be like,
That's proved his
No.
loyalty to me. And I'm like,
has it? I think he's playing the game, babe.
yeah. And he's doing it well with
Yeah.
the I'm shy.
He's quite cute. I probably would let him tell me things as well. I'm not going to lie.
To us. Okay. Playing a good game well.
Sure. Frank did ask for consent. So Krystal tells us he's won some nice guy brownie points.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited for Frank in that way.
I'm telling you, I'm
Yeah.
almost certain that
Yeah.
he's actually a nice guy.
She goes full detective. She finds out that Norman and Doug were the culprits. So they go into the little black book. Hashtag Norman and Doug did not ask for consent.
And she's like, to be clear, you're both incredible kisses.
Yeah. No, she's like, to be clear, it was hot.
Yeah.
But they should have asked. And I'm
Yeah.
like, love this. We're all getting an education.
And I feel like Doug, like, he was a bit like, oh, yeah. Like, he's just, a bit dumb in the sense of that.
Didn't
Like,
know what a clip was.
it's actually not surprising. I just was like, there's no way.
Dog. It
Whereas
does-
Norman, I
yeah.
was like, no one's heard from you. So
Who
that's a
are
really
you?
intense
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
to do. Yeah.
Oh, God. Joe is such a bully. He starts intimidating Joey. I found it quite hard to watch.
Yeah.
But then, and it's like, Joey, we were all rooting for you.
But also, like, this is some shit bro code nonsense where so many of the guys were, like, not wanting to stand up because they're afraid of Joe. And I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah.
genuinely just get some balls. Like,
Yeah.
step your pussy up. That's one of them did.
Oh, yeah. Who
The
was
rapping
that?
guy, wasn't it?
Minjara. Yeah.
I feel like
he kind of had
At the
Joey's
end,
back
yes.
for like 2 seconds. But
at the
then-
very end of it, like,
Yeah, no
I'll
one-
stand next to you.
I think everyone is that intimidated by Joe.
Yeah,
They're
which
like,
makes me think, like, what is happening when we don't see? Like, what is he saying?
Yeah. Plus, if you stand up, and like if you speak up on shows like this as well, it's like
Yeah.
you get attention that maybe you don't want. I don't know.
That's true, yeah.
They're all there for the money, let's be honest.
Look, and good on him, but
Yeah.
my God, get some balls.
Joey goes over to the bartenders to vent, and Caleb is like, give me the tea. I love Caleb. He's like collecting gossip.
I know, and you just know he's going to drop it in the right places. That's why it's so fun.
Oh my God. A lot of bros are exchanged. It's like, bro. Like, I think I heard the word bro like 600 times in this exchange.
Yeah,
I
it's
couldn't
straight
believe it.
people nonsense.
Yeah,
Don't
right,
forget. It's straight people nonsense.
He's like, bro, Joe is gatekeeping Ali, bro.
Oh God.
I can't watch. And then, yeah, Joey is like, everyone, listen up. I couldn't.
It was so awkward.
Bad. Joe's like, you're talking out your ass, bro. He's like, bro. And then Ali,
he's like, you just came up to me earlier and said, is this okay? So don't pretend. I'm like, yeah, why do you think he did that? Because you have created the culture.
Yeah, exactly. Ali comes over, but she doesn't like, I wanted her to like jump in the middle.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, what is this? Me? Fighting over me? Tell me everything. But instead, she just kind of like stands in the corner.
And I think it's Krystal's like, this is all about you, babe. Like, she's like encouraging to go do something.
Like,
and she's just like,
go and make some good TV, girl.
Yeah.
But she's like, nah. So she just kind of sits back. And then this is the problem. She just lets Joe take her away and then like get in her ear.
And like do it. And maybe they just didn't show it, but like go talk to Joey as well. Even if you're not interested in him, just to be like, okay, so what's this about? Yeah. Also, you just heard this information from Nugget and then this has happened. So like letting Joe take you away and kind of be like, yeah, I just really hope not. I'm like, you've heard this from two different people now. Yeah.
Joe, last week Joe told us that he's perfect. He's Linda Evangelista. He's got a big dick. He's muscly, he's tall. And this week he's like, I'm the biggest threat here. I'm like, wow, tickets.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God, my eyes could not roll further back into my head.
He's like, I'm getting really sick of these other guys going after Ellie. Don't they know?
She's mine.
The pecking order. She's mine. Poor Joey, he did not pull that off at all. If he pulled that off, I would have been like, yes,
absolutely.
Gaga. But
he just...
No.
And I get like the physicality of the two of them are so different. So I understand like that was obviously a huge part. But at the end of the day, surely you'd have to be like, there's a bunch of producers and people here. Like he's probably not going to beat me up on TV.
Poor Joey. Ali goes to investigate. So she goes to talk to Joe, which I was like, bad choice. And he's like, Joey just came out of nowhere and started going at me. I'm like, sure. And then he says the ultimate douchebag thing. I just want you, babe. So I'm just here for you. Man, I got eyes for you.
Yuck.
So bad.
I walk into the sea.
Yeah. Anyway. Then
I did like how she did walk away though. I will say. Like,
she's like, cool.
He was like, would you like a hug? Can I give you a hug? And then she was like, no. And even though I was like, you're absolutely going to keep like dating him. But I liked that in that moment, she at least was like, let me leave him hanging a little.
And she does say, like in her defense, she is like, look, I am a bit concerned with this behavior and I do want to make some connections with some other people. So,
but like, I'd prove it.
But go and actually do that now then.
I need the next episode. I need you to prove it and like pash some guys. And
totally. And then Abby comes in and tells us that there's intruders.
So good.
And psych, it's Nathan, Chad, and Godwill from the Single Dates. I was genuinely gagged.
But they've been there for a while though.
Yeah, they were like at the mixer.
Yeah,
they were like hanging around the house.
But like the previous mixers too. So I loved that they were all like, "Oh shit, I've been confiding in you," and I was like, "This
that
is
little
tea.
clip package where they got all the stuff, and the guys are just saying the most like gross shit to them.
Oh my God, I was like, "This is perfection! Like what a twist!" And because as if. Whether you're a nice guy, like if any of them are nice guys, they have reason to tell it because they want to be like respectful. And if any of them are F-boys, of course they'll want to tell it to like get rid of other guys. Yeah. So it's just like the show created this perfect situation.
Totally. And the girls didn't know either, which I thought was good.
Yeah.
We get in that flashback, we get Jerome once talking to one of them being like, are you a tits guy or an ass guy? He's like, with tits, it's just like once they're out, it's just like watching a documentary. I was like, I'm going to need you to explain that.
I was like,
further, Jerome.
It's giving...
But sure. There's plenty of things you can do with tits.
Yeah. I was also like, this reminds me of the movie, the 40-year-old version, where he's talking about how boobs are like a bag of sand.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jerome.
But also, he's an ass man. So good to know.
As noted in episode 1, when he said he enjoys licking ass.
Licking ass.
Straight up. And the guys, the very straight men next to him being like, oh.
What? How do they? Come on, guys! It's 2024.
Get
involved.
Yeah, it's. I was like, oh, this is just them being so uncomfortable. I was like, it's okay. It's okay.
Love it. Chad is living. Chad is giving F-boy. Don't you think?
Is
Chad's the
that
one,
the
the like
blonde?
blondie one.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks a bit roided.
I feel like they
roidy.
all could be giving F-boy, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Nathan
Maybe
is totally. Maybe
there's
I think
no way
Godwill
actually
could be nice.
Yeah, he could go either way. I feel like maybe he's just a bit like he's confident and a bit
Yeah.
silly, but the other two,
Oh, Nathan's got to be an F-boy.
oh, he looks.
Those eyebrows alone.
He has frosted tips. I'm sorry, but that is F-boy nonsense.
Yep.
And he looked also so excited when the reveal was on. Like he was like, "I've got the juicy," and I was like, "All right, you want to fuck shit up?"
Too excited.
Yeah.
He grabs Nicole straight away, which I was like, oh.
He's
And
made his main man. Yeah.
Very smooth. They have a little chat. Krystal quizzes Godwill. She wants intel.
Yeah.
I like that she's more after that than anything
Yeah. Oh,
else.
absolutely. I would be the same. I'd be like, tell me everything you know.
And she says a funny line. She's like, well, let's hope that God will help you through this competition. I was like, someone had to do it.
And she was like, it's going to be me.
Yeah. I'm assuming that he's like Bible bashing parents are not enjoying him being on this show. Because like, who
Yeah.
would name their child that?
God will. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Maybe-
some
I don't know. Maybe they don't have a TV. Like they're that religious or
True.
something. And he's like, they'll
he's
never
like,
find
they're
out.
never gonna know. Chad is a break dancer.
Oh, fuck that. I forgot about that because he was talking about something else first and then about his like
Amazing.
job. And then she's
know.
like, oh, and what is your job exactly? And when he said breakdancer, I was like, sorry?
I know. And trending. Maybe he knows Dr. Reagan.
Oh, God. Oh, gosh. Also, I was like, you don't have like a breakdancer's body type. Like he
Yeah.
was quite stocky.
Yeah, he was a little barrel bod.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, obviously I want to see it. Maybe it'll happen at
Oh, he's
at an elimination.
Ninjara will freestyle next to him.
Dar will be
doing
playing a
it.
cello. Oh, God.
Oh my god! At the elimination, the girls. Shout out to these looks. I liked the kind of tequila sunrise color
yeah.
palette on these silky.
Yeah,
looks
sometimes the
girls
looks
in.
are a sleigh, but as
Yeah.
you discussed last week, sometimes you're like,
Sometimes like wow. But I thought Ali looked good. It was like a
Yeah.
sparkly moment. So snaps for that. The girls are ready to weed out the F-boys and teach them some lessons. And this is when Ali kind of goes, step it up, boys. And I'm like, whatever, Ali.
Yeah.
Come on.
they.
You step it up,
yeah,
Ali.
exactly. You reach out. Fuck.
She's like, boys club has to go. We should be your priority. Which I don't think there is a boys club. I think last season there was a boys club.
Oh, there totally was last
But it
season.
was like quite cute.
Yeah, it was like.
It was like
It
lads.
it was just like they spend all day together hanging out.
They were full like slapping each other's asses.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me they weren't all fucking circle jerking
Yeah.
in the house
Yeah.
last season. But this season I'm not getting that at all.
There's like some that seem kind of like mates, but not
No.
really. They're not really like.
they were all like climbing on Nick last season
Yeah.
and like doing cute stuff like that.
and that's
they
where
were
the whole
cuddling.
bros over hoes
Yeah.
thing came from because they were like
Yeah.
so broy together.
I'm gonna need some more bromance.
Yeah.
So I was,
That's one of
That's
the
what
most
the guys
enjoyable
want.
parts. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god. Nicole's bottom two is Lewis
Oh yeah.
and Tim. Which
Which is you're like, okay, well you're obviously getting rid of Lewis.
yeah.
I think.
I thought that too, but then I was like, oh, I don't know. She's pretty cutthroat. I was like, she could probably get rid of Tim.
Yeah, and she was really like this behavior. And
This babe.
but the Lewis thing, I think it will be him, obviously because we didn't find out.
Fate.
Because of the comedian thing that
That's right.
Did
So
Joey?
who was it?
I think Joey
Yeah,
said
Joey
it
was
to
like,
her.
he said he's just out here getting material for a stand-up show, which firstly, fuck, that is so funny.
I know. Yeah.
I hope that's the case. And if so, I would like to go to this
Oh,
comedy
absolute-
show.
yeah.
And also, wow, that's so bad. Like, yeah.
Why would you also tell people
Don't
that?
tell anyone that.
Yeah, like
He didn't
that's,
defend it either.
No.
He should have been like, oh, I mean, look, I may also be doing like a Melbourne Fringe show after this, but I'm also here for love.
Yeah, like on October 7th at Trades Hall, you can see me perform.
Yeah, in the broom closet
Yeah.
upstairs. Yeah. Oh, Lewis.
Yeah, but that I was like, oh, this really looks like Because sometimes I hate when they do that with an elimination
Yeah.
where you are 100% like, well, it's not. Like when it was Joe in week 1, I was like, you're not getting rid of
I
Joe.
know. Also, Lewis, that's my job. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you don't go on these shows to talk about them.
Yeah, exactly.
We're already doing that from a safe distance.
Where we don't actually have to engage.
Exactly. I do want the tea on what being on that set is like. But also I don't, because I like being like suspended in the world of the show.
So do I, but I feel like the way that the show is, like, it's so silly. Like, I don't know how much it would ruin it, because you can tell what's being produced and they're really like owning all of that for entertainment.
yeah.
Like, they know the show is for entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just kind of awesome that like
Just
two
such
of
a
the couples
like-
from last season are still a couple. Like, that's
Yeah.
just awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, it's FBoy Island.
Krystal picks Norman and Doug, which I was like, yes. So the two non-consensual kisses are on the chopping block.
That was great.
And Ali chooses Joey and, drumroll, Nugget. Okay, girl. I was like, sure.
And she kind of says something before the... Oh, no. I remember, because Joey is like, I'm going to pull out all stops. And I'm like, because you're an F-boy that wants to get the money. I'm a virgin.
This was a gag. Like, actually, this was so good. I
was
love,
like-
I love that he thinks that that's going to, like, convince her that he's a nice guy. I'm like, what? You can
It's
still
just being like,
be an
I'm
F-boy virgin.
Exactly. And also, like, even if you're a nice guy virgin, for Ali, she might be like, okay, well, that's a lot of pressure for me, so I'm going to get rid of you because I think you need to maybe not lose your virginity to somebody from a reality show. Like, I don't know. I just was like, okay, just dig up.
Poor Doug seems to genuinely have no idea what's going on. Like, he's learning all these new things. He's learning what the clitoris is, what consent is.
BDE.
But then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And
He seemed genuine,
I
like,
bought it.
I didn't realize, but now I do, and oh my God, whoops kind of thing. Like, he's just a bit of a dummy.
He's a big dummy.
Yeah.
Such a gag if he comes out and it's all an act.
I just, honestly, would be great, but I just can't see him being smart enough to pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, he dances his pecs every
It's
chance
like,
he
boom,
gets.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Ali reads Nugget for being rude to the waiter and also says he's inconsistent, which is an F-boy red flag. And then obviously...
His face as well, which was like...
Yeah, he was like, all shocked.
Yeah.
And then Joey gets red for being a bad kisser, which we know. But then he does the virgin gag. And then we get a cliffhanger, no elimination. Which
That's to be continued, which I'm like, what could possibly happen?
Yeah, which I was a little blue-balled over. But also, there was such a great episode anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I think with the reveals
The
and
virgin
everything...
reveal?
No. I mean, like...
The intruders.
Yeah. And all that, I thought... Then I was like, okay, I'm still satisfied.
Yeah.
But I couldn't possibly think, like, I just don't want next week the cliffhanger to not be a cliffhanger.
True.
Like, it's giving Sue's big move.
Well, next,
you know?
oh my God. Sorry.
I just want it to be
Sue's
like, actually.
big move. That would
still
only
waiting.
be if 10 were behind the promo material.
Yeah, 100%. So I feel like, I don't know what it is, like, because you know, they just do, like, they've got they kind of do this freedom of whatever they kind of want.
Yeah.
Like last season, just making them all reveal their status was top notch.
Loved that.
The last episode, remember how they got Vernon's girlfriend into the show.
That was the gag.
It was such a good finale. So I feel like having a cliffhanger, I have hope that it's actually probably something pretty good, because they kind of just go buck wild a little bit.
Totally. Are you also a cheap bitch like me, and are you watching it on the like $10 binge where you get the ads?
No, because I'm a part of a technology pool, so we all pay for a different streaming
Well, you're
service.
missing out. The ads are all for vodka cruises, and they contain, and it's like a pretend elimination ceremony. And the girls are there, and they're like, it's time to
the
go.
actual F-boy
yes,
girls?
like it's like content they shot like in the show.
Oh
and
my
it's like,
gosh.
it's so funny.
Nicole is always
Yeah.
walking around with a cruiser at the cocktail party. And I, honest to God, yesterday when I watched the episode, was like, I feel like I would have a vodka cruiser.
But then I'm like,
it's
as if
working.
she consumes any sugar of any kind.
That's very true.
Like, I was like, come on.
Yeah, you're right. She should be having like vodka, lime, and soda.
Yeah, she's a skinny bitch, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel Echols, thank you so much for
Thank you for
joining
having
me
me.
this week.
That was fun. What a good episode.
What a good app. Next week looks steamy.
I just can't wait. I like seeing the little snippet promos of like you're seeing people making out with other people, and I'm like, yeah, get into it, all of you.
Are we getting some sex next week? It looks like there's some fucking.
I reckon they've been like it's too obvious to like make it a surprise in a way, but I love that she's so into Caleb, and
Caleb's going for it, and I love it.
And also just get it, girl. Like you can still end up with somebody else and be like, because they were like having sex last season, weren't they?
Totally.
When they had the nights over at the house and
That's
stuff
right.
like that.
Vernon with the pussy tickler.
And that's when he, oh God, that's right. And that was him saying, that was him revealing his status and stuff. So I feel like
I keep forgetting that that's Ali's whole thing. It's like her whole storyline is Vernon, which like that's not good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like, have you heard about his side of that?
No.
I only know this because he was talking about like, oh, my dick's not that small or whatever,
which is hilarious.
But then he like
because that's what a person with a
posted
big dick
receipts
says.
of how it actually went down, which was not like it was him disappearing on her for 3 days, like she said, but because she was back on Tinder, and he like posted the text exchange of her being like, I'm so sorry, like I'm not on Tinder anymore. So he was like, yeah, I did disappear for 3 days, but because you were on Tinder. So it's like this whole.
Those are not the receipts we want, Vernon. We want the
I know.
the dick
You're like, what receipts does he have? And I'm like, no, just the ones about Ali.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Cringe is Real with me, Sam Cremant. If you would like to support the show, rate, review, share, and tell your friends about it. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the show notes.